What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. I'm also Director of Research at LeDuc Trading. It is December 22nd, 2020. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to be talking about the price action, the indices, volatility. We'll go under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors, some of the trades I took, and then we'll wrap up some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer. Nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So with that out of the way, let's jump right in and let's take a look at our ES futures. These videos have been about 20 minutes every day. I want to see if we can get it down to about 15. So I'll try to be a little bit more succinct and less just babbling on. So we have our ES futures here, and you can see we did have a red candle today. We had the S&P 500 down 0.17%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 0.27%. We have the small caps, which are the big winner for today, up 1.14%. And we had the Dow Jones, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, down 0.69%, our biggest loser on the day. So for our ES futures, we closed below the 5-day exponential moving average, but above the 20-day simple moving average, and we're also above our monthly value area. So you can see yesterday was a super scary candle. This was more so what I would expect for a holiday week, where a lot of times what happens is, like, I remember working on the buy side at Vanguard, and the week or two before the holiday, like pretty much every portfolio manager was out of the office, like all the senior people were gone, and there wasn't really a whole lot to do during the holiday week. So yeah, this is staying true to color, where I don't really think we're going to have much unless there's some like crazy headline or something like that. But I think it should be just a quiet week. Let's take a look. We'll jump into the QQQ. QQQ looks a little bit better. So you can see we put in a doji candle, which looks a little bit better than what we did for the ES. We're above the 5-day exponential moving average, and we're also above the 20-day simple moving average. So the Qs are looking good. They're finally showing some strength. And the small caps, look really good as well. So we had that dip yesterday, and that's where I ditched my IWM hedge. And you can see, after that dip, closed near the highs, and we got some follow through today. So it looks like this might be a new, all-time closing high. So yeah, these small caps continue to be strong. And then the Dow Jones, I don't know what's dragging this down. Like, there's only 30 components. I know Intel is in there, which has been an underperformer, and it has a few others in there as well that are underperformers. But yeah, you can see the Dow Jones dipped into that monthly value area. So we'll have to see how this one does, but by and large it has been trending sideways. And if we look real quick at the VIX, let me push this over to the side. Let's see what the VIX did. Yeah, you can see we had that, big expanded candle yesterday when we had that vol spike, closed well off the highs yesterday. And today you can see we put in a nice red candle. So now we're pretty much falling back into that base for the VIX that we've been in for so long now. You can see I have my mark here at around 17.92. That level marks, when we actually fill the gap in the VIX from prior to COVID. Because really ever since COVID started, we have been in an elevated volatility regime. And once we break through down to that level, that will prove we are finally past this elevated, COVID volatility regime. But yeah, nice red candle for the VIX. Let's jump into these sectors and style factors, and let's see what we got for today. So you can see solar, continues to be strong, up 3.56%. We have the Innovative Tech Fund up 1.94%, and we have the ARC Next Generation Internet up 1.26%. People are pretty much panicking into these ARK funds at this point. And I believe it was like Eric Balchunas from Bloomberg. He's an ETFs expert. He watches the flows into and out of ETFs all the time. And he posted something really interesting on Twitter. And, he was just showing like this is a mad dash to get in. And unlike anything, we've ever seen before with those funds. So yeah, they are really being chased now. In terms of our laggards, we have the transports down 0.21%. We have real estate up 0.79%. And we have the utilities down 0.2%. For our style factors, you can see momentum and growth were the best performing style factors, up 0.64% for momentum, up 0.46% for growth, and our laggards are min vol, value, and high div, low vol. And the one interesting thing in my opinion is high beta, which was at the top of our list for so long, is now more towards the middle, and that was actually the worst performer on the day, down 1.2%. Pretty interesting stuff going on there. If we take a look at some of these just wild movers we've had in the markets, you can see Fubo. This is one that I was actually interested in participating in, back here. And I put Jumia on instead, which has also done really well. But yeah, Fubo is just ridiculously bullish. And at this point, I don't think it's worth it in my opinion. I am certainly not jumping in at this level. It seems like a really good company, but at this point, it's been discovered. It's gone parabolic. So there's no trade there for me. I know this other company, QS, QuantumScape, very similar situation. Can you imagine if you invested in this when it was still a SPAC? All these people, they were buying this at $10, $12, etc. Now it's at $131. So pretty insane stuff. MP, this is a long-term holding of mine. I am one of those lucky people that was acquiring it, in the 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s back here. And it was originally under the ticker FVAC. And once the merger was complete, this was one of those initial just success stories with SPACs where it just went wild. And today we had a massive move up. And at one point, I believe FVAC was up 20%. And I trimmed more of my position in this name. And now I'm down to a runner size position in MP. But this is one where I would love to add some more back on a dip. I keep saying that about some of these companies, and they just don't dip. Eventually, it's going to happen. But yeah, now just down to a runner size position in MP. Let's take a look. That segues perfectly into the watch list, some of the trades that I did today. So Jumia is one that I added. It was one of the first trades I put on for Leduc Trading clients. And Jumia, I put it on when it was about $30 a share. And Jumia also had a really nice sort of blow off day. This is one that I just want to continue to hold for the long term. So even though it might be a little extended, whatever you want to call it, this one I'm just going to continue to hold. And you can see this one up 14.15%. I bought Jumia, I believe it was on this candle right here, this big green candle. And I saw around here, this was when they did their secondary offering. And I just noticed there was so much demand for the stock to just gobble up that secondary. And that's really what prompted me to enter. But yeah, you can see this one has been on a nice run. One that I closed out today for a loser was Norwegian Cruise Lines. And I'm glad that I did. I closed this one out early in the day. I bought the 25 strike calls on this candle right here because it looked like it could be, a potential reversal. And I was letting this one go for a couple days while it really wasn't doing much. Even yesterday, I was like, okay, we had a big gap down, but it closed near the highs. Today, somewhere around 10 o'clock a.m. or somewhere around there, I just figured this trade's not working, and I have a January call option. So, time is against me on this one. So I closed it out, I believe, for a 30% loss. But that one, I am so glad that I cut it off. Because, it just closed on the lows, and it doesn't really look that good. But yeah, of course, this is a perfect pullback to the monthly value area high For a lot of these where I get shaken out like this, I do notice that then it just goes on to moon. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if Norwegian gets its second win somewhere around here. But just given that I was in those January calls, it just wasn't worth it. There's so many things on the books that are working correctly. So it's like I'm not even going to waste my time with, something that's not really working and, let it go to a zero. Let's see. Okay, EXPC. I continued to add to this one today. This is a SPAC that just hasn't gone yet. And, I've talked about this one, a couple days ago as well. But they're an EV company and they're doing electric helicopters. And this is actually one of my buddies brought this one to my attention. So shout out to him, really good friend. And, a lot of times when people bring up companies or investments, like most of the time I'm not even interested. But this one just seemed very compelling. And given this EV craze, it just made sense. It's pretty close to $10 still. So I did add a little bit to that position today. I believe I first got in at like $10.40 on this candle right here. So that's EXPC. CRM I traded as well, just via some common stock. This is another setup I've been watching for quite some time. You can see this one closed pretty nicely above the 20-day simple moving average. We dropped down into this base, and I could just see, okay, there was no real appetite to push it much lower than that. And I started seeing a bunch of options activity coming in, and now we sort of got that trigger where we're moving out of this base. So I set my alert. I took the trade via some common stock, and we'll see what happens with this one. Vroom, this one was awesome. So this one I put on today. I bought some February 45 strike calls, and Vroom closed up 4.8% today. I put those calls on when it was up about 2%, right somewhere around the middle of this candle. But you can see Vroom, it's doing a bearish to bullish trend reversal. That's what I'm seeing, where we were in a downtrend for quite some time, and now Vroom moved through the monthly value area firmly above it. Now you can see we sort of went sideways to up, for one day. And sure enough, here we are out to a new, swing high. So I like this one. There's a target up here that I'm probably going to take at 49.6 if it gets up there. This is actually a mark that I had from when I was trying to get into Vroom like a long time ago. I was probably trying to get in like back here somewhere, and the alert never triggered. So yeah, this one I'll actually set it down here for this VPOC. That's the beauty of setting alerts, though. When they don't go off, you don't take the trade, and this one ended up going way lower. We have Vroom looking pretty good. Another one that I took was Baidu. Baidu, was my biggest winner of the last options expiration month. I bought into Baidu on this breakout candle right here. This is documented for Leduc trading clients. Talked about it in my recap video. And I bought like some January calls down here, closed them out on this candle, rolled them to February calls the same day. Then I closed out my February calls on this big, expanded range candle. Literally like 5 minutes into the close on this big candle, I just closed it out because I was like, I just want to take this money and have a nice month. But now you can see we're moving sideways, and we're getting the consolidation that I really thought was going to be coming in Baidu, where, I even thought this one might correct a little bit because it just had such a wild run. But yeah, we got this red candle. So I bought some February 190 strike calls, and we'll see what happens with those. This one could certainly just roll right over, and I'll take my stop on it. But this one looks pretty good in terms of this tight consolidation that it's doing. And you can see it decreased today, but on pretty much no volume. So that to me is saying it's not like there were like super powerful sellers out there, just offloading this thing. So we'll see what happens. That about does it for the trades for today. Let's take a quick look into Cheddar Flow and just see, what some of those large orders were. And I'm going to take my filter off here. That way we can just see, like, overall, what did the flow look like? Okay, so I can see 60% call flow, 40% put flow. So a bit more balanced for today. And let's look at the orders $1 million and above. I will post my affiliate link for Cheddar Flow in the description of this video. Feel free to click the link if you'd like a 7-day free trial. So let's see. This is our $1 million and up flow. And you can see a lot of these, came in towards the end of the day, but there's so much flow. Oh my gosh. So let's go through. So we have Fubo, these degenerate Fubo call buyers. This person got in at 9:33. This person got in at 9:32. So they made a killing. Yeah, because look at the candle for Fubo. Let's see. Now I already showed this earlier, but yeah, this was a really good trade on their part. So look at that. They probably jumped in here like right at the beginning of this candle, and then boom, up another like $10. So just awesome trade on their part. More QS call buyers. They've been going after QS for days and days and days. And every day I'm like, these people are such savages. Like, why are they still buying QS calls? And QS is so far up. But every day, the party just continues in this one. So, yeah, nice trade on them. Again, up 38%. That's so ridiculous. Yeah, good trade for them. Okay, I see some plug call buyers. Plug is a name that I played recently via a butterfly and some calls. Yeah, plug is another one that looks really nice. Getting pretty extended here, but definitely looks like a leader in that, EV clean energy category. AZN. This is one that I typically never see flow in here for AZN. They bought the January 15th, 2021 calls, and they put these in, towards the close. This was at 343. That's super weird. So AZN just looks like it's falling into the abyss right here. You can see it's just riding that lower Bollinger Band down. I don't know if this is like a vaccine stock that, didn't make it or what. Yeah, that's definitely a counter trend trade. We got some Visa coming in. That's pretty interesting. And Hilton. Let's take a look at Visa and Hilton. Visa, tagging the lower Bollinger Band also. So it looks like a bit of a dip buying play. Hilton is another one that looks interesting. I was looking at this one earlier. You can see also towards the lower Bollinger Band. And I thought what was interesting is the chart here looks so similar to the chart for Expedia, which I now have a position in, via those leaps that I bought. But yeah, look at Hilton. Had the big gap up, and then it's just gone sideways. I believe this was the gap up due to the COVID vaccine. Look at Expedia. Almost identical chart. Looks so similar. So I find that pretty interesting. I'm just going to use that to confirm my bias that Expedia is going up. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Expedia could, completely plummet for all I know. I'll just take my stop and, move to the next trade. Yeah, and then we got some Apple call buyers. And Apple was an outperformer today. I don't think it closed on the highs. Okay, yeah, Apple put in a doji candle, but it's challenging, the prior highs at this point. It's getting up there. So I'll have to see if Apple has, another leg of upside in it. But that about does it for today's recap video. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will speak with you all tomorrow.